Hey, welcome in everyone. Ian Joy on SportsLine with you. We're looking forward to Greg Berhalter and the US men taking on Saudi Arabia over in Spain for an international friendly game as a warm-up to the World Cup continues. Excited to see where you can make some money from this game because the US men's national team have been struggling for performances. Trying to pick a starting 11 has not been easy. However, I've brought some friends along with me to help you put some money in your pocket this time around. Jimmy Conrad, former US international, of course, Luis Garcia and John Buckets Eimer. Jimmy, I'm going to start with you because I watched that game against Japan for the US men and I was bored for 90 minutes against Japan. Give me something for this game. Please give me some hope and please try and put some money in my pocket.
Listen, Ian, I wasn't bored watching that game. I was angry, okay? It looked like men versus boys in some capacity, and I just thought we got outcoached, we got outplayed, and we didn't have a lot of solutions. We didn't get to get a shot on goal over 90 minutes, okay? We didn't get a shot on goal. So let's take that into consideration and take into the fact that Saudi Arabia have had under 2.5 goals in their last 12 games, and I'm liking the under 2.5 goals, minus 155. It's not the sexiest pick of all time, but it will probably provide you some value. I don't know how this is going to go. My heart gets in the way when I think about the U.S. men's national team. And so I could see really in terms of value, if I get my head going, that I like Saudi Arabia double chance, meaning they either win or draw minus 120. It doesn't feel very U.S. men's national team first, but I'm trying to be pragmatic about it. That said, I'm very excited to see how the U.S. respond after not having a very good performance against Japan and starting to implement some of the plan Bs and plan Cs that have to exist if our plan A isn't working. And that goes for every player up and down and for our coaching staff as well. What does our in-game management look like? So I know I'm getting into the weeds here, but those were my bets before. And I really like the under 2.5. I think that's a really smart bet.
Yes, Jimmy, totally right. It's time to check what all the players can bring on the table because definitely I was surprised. Sargent not being involved, scored 6 times for Norwich. Also, Ricardo Pepi scored in the last game for Groningen, and I think these kind of players can make the change. You have to start bringing things that if they didn't work in the first game, why to get stuck on that? Let's check. It's the moment to check and see different things. So it's very important because you're gonna play again against a team that is very well organized that doesn't give you much. So you have to create something from nowhere. You have to maybe use set pieces, change something because if not, yes, you play against Japan that they are organized, disciplined, you're not going to get anything. So I still think that there is enough talent in the U.S. Team to break those lines. Even though they don't concede much, I think they still have the chance of scoring goals if you can twist a little bit, even though they are missing Musa or Pulisic. They are players in the middle who can make the change. So I'm going to go for, and again, my heart put it in this one. In this occasion, I'm going to go for U.S. To get the win.
I am right there with Jimmy. Sometimes if you want to make money betting this beautiful game, you have to leave your heart out of the equation. Saudi Arabia does not score goals. Saudi Arabia does not concede goals. As Jimmy already mentioned, 12 games straight with the under-hitting dating back to October of last year. In those 12 games, we also saw 10 of them have both teams not to score in this matchup. Saudi Arabia, from the time that first whistle blows to that last whistle ends, plays cagey ball. They don't want high-scoring affairs, and they're going to try to take their frustrations out on the U.S. team, who is already struggling after that bizarre Japan match we saw last week. I'm going to be rocking that same pick there on the under 2.5 goals in this matchup.
You say don't bet with your heart. I've got my Stars and Stripes underwear on right now as I rock this. I mean, to me, this is a massive game for Greg Berhalter. I mean, a big warm-up game for the World Cup as to what we can expect to see. Who's going to be in your starting 11? Who's the starting goalkeeper? Where's your strikers going to be? There's a lot of unanswered questions, so I'm expecting the US to show up, but I do appreciate the love for Saudi Arabia and what they've done with their youth system and making their team very difficult to beat. Jimmy Conrad, same game parlay. There must be some money there to be won, even if you think there's not going to be many goals in this game.
Well, I'm going to start with the under 2.5 goals. That's going to be kind of the anchor of my same game parlay. Now, if I go with my heart and I say the U.S. is going to win, if you combine those two together, that is plus 210. That's not bad value. If you want to go and make that a draw with under 2.5 goals, it jumps up to plus 430. So you could probably bet both, $10. They'll come out slightly ahead if the U.S. win. Either way, the U.S. have to perform. They have to get a response. They have to show some intensity and some desire. And honestly, I just want them to get the first shot on goal. Is that too much? We didn't even have a shot against Japan. I don't care if you shoot from the kickoff. just hit the goalkeeper's hands. We'll get that out of the way, and then we can play from there. But I'm excited to see how some of these players perform because, as you mentioned, Ian, this is their last opportunity and our last opportunity as a team to get some meaningful minutes before the World Cup starts on November 21st.
Yes, I know. Saudi Arabia, they have won only 3 in the last 12 games. Yeah, only by 1 goal. Yeah, they have conceded only 8 goals in 12 games. That's something that is important to mention. You said it, guys, but they are kind of on holidays. They are in Murcia, where they're going to play in Spain. They play there 3 games. They've been there like forever. And sometimes when you are in that kind of situation, you kind of relax a little bit. And when a team comes to you and is bringing that intention of, listen, we've been hurt. We need to prove. We need to show and make a point on here because we're going to play in the World Cup in less than a month. So you have to be very careful the way you behave. And then if the U.S. come to you and start putting under pressure, I think that you are going to be in trouble. That's why I'm going to go for the win for U.S., but also under 2.5 goals. Yes, I know they are going to be very disciplined and tight at the back, but I still think that they're going to get the win.
We're all talking about the under right now, and that makes sense considering Saudi Arabia's most common score line over the past 3 years has been a 1-0 loss. I know we want to leave our heart out of the equation. I just said I'm leaving my heart out of it, but I'm going to take a tiny little bit of my heart and still put it on this U.S. team. This is their last international friendly before the World Cup. A win here would mean everything to bring some extra confidence into the difficult group that's ahead of them. My same game parlay is going to be USA to have the first goal and also U.S. money line at plus 240. I think we see a 1-0 type of win here for the U.S.
I only heard one thing there, and it was Luis Garcia saying that the players are on holiday, there's a lot of nightclubs there, and then after that, I forgot what you completely said, but I hope that all of you bettors out there didn't forget. A lot on offer from our boys. Thank you so much, as always. Jimmy Conrad, Luis Garcia, and John Buckets Eimer. It's the US men against Saudi Arabia. Be very careful where you put your money.